So hello all. So now in this video, let us talk about different sands used for molding. Okay. So first, let us understand what is silica sand mean. Okay, the silica sand is a quartzites that over time through the work of a water and wind has been broken down into tiny granules. Silica high fusion point is 1760 degrees centigrade. Lower rate of thermal expansion produces stable core and mold capability with all pouring temperatures and alloys of the system. So silica, it is composed of one atom of silicon and two atoms of oxygen resulting in the chemical formula of SiO2. So you can see this colorized rock with the hit of the water and winds, it will become a small particles, and then with the temperature differences and water and wind force, they will become into this small particles of sand. Okay, so it contains a few produced stable cores, molds compatible with all pouring temperatures and alloy systems. They will be of two atoms. One is silicon, one is oxygen, two parts. Okay, so that's why it's called SiO2. Two atoms of oxygen resulting in the form. So in this here, you can see the sand particle. Okay, this is how a sand particle looks. It contains 2.0 to 0.05 mm of sand particle, and a slit particle is placed where it is of 0.05 mm to 0.002 mm, and a clay particle is also placed where it is smaller than the slit particle. It's about like 0.002 mm. So if you see in the image on the right side, it is a sand is poured in a bottle with a water, where you can see clay is seated at the first, and a slit sand is seated at the second, and sand is seated on the third bottom. You can see easily. So you can see the sand particle size is bigger than the clay particle size. Clay particle size is smaller than the slit, and slit is smaller than the sand particle. So these are the different casting sands. First is foundry green sand, second is dry sand, third one is dry, third one is loma sand, fourth one is partning sand, fifth one is facing sand, sixth one is baking sand, and seventh one is system sand, and eighth one is core sand. These are the different types of sands. So first let us see foundry, that is green sand. The mixture of silica sand plus with 15 to 25% of clay plus 6 to 8% of water. So you can see the silica sand over here, no? So same mixture, a mixture of silica sand with 15 to 25% of clay and 6 to 8% of water is nothing but a green sand. Sand is used in wet condition for making the mold. It should be slightly wetted for making it into a mold. Okay, in a wet condition, not completely wet, but very slightly wet. Okay, the green sand mold are not dried when the metal poured in them in the wet condition. Easily worked with hand to give it any desired shape. Use it for producing small to medium sized molds which are not very complex. Next, dry sand. The dry sand is the green sand that dried or baked after preparing the mold, used for producing medium to large size molds. So the same green sand is dried. How they are dried? It is baked in a molding oven, sand molding oven. It is baked, the mold is baked, and then it will become a dry sand. Loma sand. The loam sand containing up to 50% of clay. It is a plastic paste from used for large casting and mostly for grey cast iron. So Loma sand containing up to 50% of clay. It is of plastic paste form, used for large casting and mostly for grey casting iron. So you can see the sand particles with sand particle, right? It is the mostest smallest particle, the clay particle. It is the Loma sand is nothing but clay particle. Patterning sand. It consists of fine grained clay, dried silica sand, sea sand, or burnt sand with some patterning components like charcoal, limestone, talc, and calcium phosphate to ensure that green sand does not stick to the pattern. The cope and drag parts easily separated for removing the pattern without causing any damage of the mold. So with this partning sand, you can see it like powder or limestone or charcoal, which does not mix with water, or they'll be always separated. Okay, they'll help us to separate the mold and the green sand, because green sand acts like a sticking sand, but this acts like a partning sand. Okay, that does not stick. So we use this partning sand for splitting the pattern and the molding sand. Okay, so you can see the gray cast iron green sand does not stick to the pattern, easily separated for removing the pattern without casting any damage to the mold. Okay, this is facing sand. Facing sand comes in direct contact with the facing sand is the sand which covers the pattern all around it. The remaining box filled with ordinary floor sand. It is made of silica sand and clay without the addition of any used sand. Has capacity to withstand high temperatures. You can see in this image pouring cup, a molten metal and a main cavity, right? So the facing sand comes in direct contact with the molten metal which is poured inside the pattern. You can see the gray structure, no? So that is a facing sand. There is a flask and closed mold and molding material is also. The brown color is a molding material. You can see this diagram very clearly. Here you have pouring cup. A molten metal is in red in color, and the main cavity is here. Okay, and this black one is flask, and you can see the brown thing is a mold material. Okay, baking sand. Use it to back up beside the facing sand and to fill up remaining volume. Because of the color, baking sand, also called as black sand. Burnt coal powder is also used. System sand. This is the sand used in machinized foundries. No separate facing sand is used. shrinkage or contraction allowance, draft or taper allowance, machining or finishing allowance, finishing allowance, chamber allowance, and wrapping allowance. So these are the different problems. So this is about the types of sands which we use in molding. So now you know the types of tools which we use in molding and the types of molding sands we have. And next in next video you'll be seeing how to make a single pattern or double pattern using this sand. Okay, thank you.